semaswati. We begin, of course, this very beautiful show, Temidlalo, on a sad note, as the Kingdom of Eswatini, and of course, also the sport fraternity. When you talk about the sport fraternity, you talk about all the sporting cause, be it football, be it other sporting cause, of course, expressing their very sadness after the passing on of His Excellency, the Honorable Prime Minister Mandla Dlamini, and of course, knowing his contribution in the sports fraternity. We talk about that. We talk about how he's played a key role in seeing the sport fraternity moving to become where it is at this point in time. Otherwise, we move on and head to other sporting causes that were taking place over the weekend. Zitande Athletics Club, they were hosting a boot camp. One of their main reasons was to emphasize the importance of mental health, meaning exercise regularly to avoid any easy sicknesses. We talk about that and talk about how far they have gone in achieving some of those programs, as you can see on the picture on your screen. See the very best pumeli ngani kubuka ukuthi singashumisa kanjani umthimba esikakhulukathi kulesikhathi seChristmas. Now, going forward, also we'll talk about the Ngonyeni ESRIC golf tournament that was taking place over the weekend. It was a 2-day tournament, and we'll talk about the ins and out of the tournament, some of the things that took place, and of course, Jamie Pennington being the winner, the pro winner on the day, and he was expressing now how he's going to be working going forward. Beautiful pictures, of course, from our team at Ngonyeni over the weekend for the 2-day tournament. We'll move on and also talk about pool knockout tournament. We talked about last week, Monday, that there's going to be a knockout tournament. It took place, and the semi-finals are expected to play this coming weekend. We're going to touch on that. Otherwise, MTN Premier League grand opening, as you can see, those are some of the pictures. Grand opening was over the weekend. A lot of shocks were noticed. Some of the clubs didn't attend games. Others, of course, showed what they are capable of. Referees, of course, fitness was on a high note, and of course, the weather was not even in a mood to run things. Everything went somehow accordingly. We talk about that. Of course, if you're joining us this show on YouTube platform, it is Temidlalo. That's the word to type, and of course, you're going to see your beautiful pictures live on your monitor, whichever you're using. And do not forget to subscribe. Sit on your comfort zone in your house. It's going to be in the next 55 minutes a live show, and I'm in the company of our in-house analyst, an expert, I should say so, someone to have been in the e-sport fraternity, also in the Kingdom of Eswatini for quite some time. That's the that I mean. Ngicela ngivusele Nkosi.
Ngiyabingelela Fabrice, ngitithoba lokukhuluma ngibingelele emali yaviwa sekhaya. Ushilo Fabrice wathi sicala lihlelo on a very sad note. Ngilahlekelwa amagama Fabrice because nawukhuluma nga Honorable Prime Minister Ambrose Mandla Dlamini, ukhuluma ngemumvulo udlala inzima lenkulu ku sports development la Kingdom of Eswatini. Ukhuluma nangesikhathi aseseka MTN, sabona MTN anaba kuma sports sponsorisha ama sports incumbi. Ukhuluma ngabo basketball, ukhulume ngebhola, ukhulume manje kakhulu Fabrice ngetenga wabala, even nemali ngala bholeni iyanyuka le sponsorship abe khona. Wabang Prime Minister beka wasekela kakhulu ema sports. Some of ema events bomkhanza vele ngwenyama cup final beka khona. Is PTC charity cup beka khona. Umbona ukuthi ibhola vele dimvu beka tsanza, even ngisho na saseka MTN Daluva beka idlala. Umbona ukuthi umove vele wema sports lengicaba ukuthi silahlekelwa live lahlekelwa kakhulu Fabrice. kunenglele engachaza akukhulumeki but nje singasho ukuthi kuwonke umuntu lotsinzekile including nathi sithi madudu alohlanga lolungehlanga lengicaba ukuthi kumele ukuthi sihlale sikufaka engcondweni tethu ukuthi uNkulunkulu uyapha uNkulunkulu athathe lokho lina singahlale sinake engcondweni ngicabanga ukuthi kuyohlala kusithuthuta njalo.
Words of wisdom, of course, all the way from our top analyst in the house, knowing how important, of course, it is to mention that the things that Master just mentioned. He talked about his involvement in the sport. I mean, if you look at in terms of sponsorship, that some of the sporting codes that have today, and I think even for football, if I'm not mistaken, the sponsorship that we still seeing being played for the 3 years, it was signed about 3 years ago. I think it was his last day as MTN CEO. You talk about golf, cycling, there's MTN Kemani Cycling Club. I think that is his involvement. You talk about basketball, I think the first sponsorship for the league. I mean, his involvement. And then I think if whenever you wanted, maybe for us, maybe journalists, we should say that at the time, whenever you wanted an interview pertaining to how far they are willing to go as a company to sponsor the sport, he was not hesitating to tell you to come forward and get all the responses. And this is how much we've lost.
One thing for Brazil ngicabanga ukuthi ngaphinze ngingede ukuthi this past year lo mnyaka lesikulo ukhombisile ama leadership qualities kule covid na suspend ma sports onke then babese babuya strategy ukuthi lamanye atawubuya kanjani in assistance ye sports recreation lengicabanga ukuthi idingo letolo tifundzako as usaphila ukuthi letinye into approach kanjani lamanye ama sports avumeleka lamanye angavumeleki lamanye abakha high risk aphutha kuvela and la sigcina kumbona khona event ku event lebekhona lapha eMalkens bekuyi event yamgcino sive lapho khona part of sports lesikona lapho bekuyi tech ball. He was part of leyo and
this is the event
okhombisishisekelo and lema questions bekawabuta bova ukuthi kubuta umvuma sports even elisekela lakhe deputy prime minister wangena wajoyina wadlala. So ngicabanga ukuthi njoba ngishilo ukuthi sisibantu bema sports silahlekelwa kakhulu live lilahlekelwa kakhulu exen nje bengibuka in fact nawutawubuka ama reactions ebamvu Fabrice uvekile bantu babhala bakhala ngicabanga ukuthi lapho ufuka khona ukuthi uve ukuthi beka ngumuntu webantu.
Because if you touch on that note, especially I think some of the people that are talking about even on a motivational level, they were able to get words of encouragement through, of course, his support. We continue, of course, to be all the sports fraternity. Football Association, of course, earlier on also released a press statement where they were expressing their sadness for the passing on of His Excellence the Prime Minister Ambrose Dlamini. And of course, we also have to take this time and say we have lost someone who played a key role in the contribution of the sports fraternity. May we pass our condolences, of course, to the Dlamini family and of course the sports fraternity at large. Now, moving on, Mr. Dlamini, we know that in as much as football is back, but other activities also are back over the weekend. We'll talk about that. We'll also go into other activities. Boot camp at Manzini Club. This is Zitande. Dlamini, singasho ukuthi mhlambe indzaba yokushugumisa umtimba. It's something singasho ukuthi the club ihambise mbili 6 o'clock. It's the time of start and nabantu abonsizwa thwala, as you can see him on the screen. Bayasibamba skats. Sive siyangena vele in their numbers. They are making sure that they do these things, and especially for this time of the year, gets ngeke ukuthi vele sithole senda njalo njalo.
Fabrice, can I give credit to Zitande Athletic Club because now almost every after 2 weeks, in fact bona by every week by jima even ngama Mondays except ngabo 5 sebasuka already sebajima almost every month baye nema events laba bambako even nabo mhlasela umkhaba na boot camp lebe idila kakhulu mental health lencaba ukuthi badlala inzima lenkulu kakhulu Fabrice ekuzameni kushukumisa umtimba ukuthi bashukume baphile lencaba ukuthi asibanike more especially lo mholo wayo le team insizwa ngicabanga ukuthi umsebenzi wakhe angeke uze uhambe unganothiswa because nawubuka leti nombolo tala bamvu leti khona ukuthi every time nababita boot camp nababita something baya attenda ubabone futhi beve nabo ukuthi bahamba bajabulile kukhona laba kuzuzile.
Now another thing must singasho ukuthi they are trying to promote here because what I've noted with this club is that they are even telling you that noma ungakhona good, but the type of exercise they provide, it's something that they tell you it works because it has worked for them so far, and it's something that you can try at home. Because as senior scouts, you can't say mhlawumbe beautiful pictures, of course, from our team. You can't say ukuthi kulukhuni ukuthi umuntu othi angikhona mina ukuthi anything, but this is something ungazama kuyenda master in a small yard, trying to fight all those illnesses sihlasikhuluma ngato. Yabo, so that umtimba wakho uhlala uphilile.
In fact vele lo mgomo uthi noma ngabe ukuphi uya ungakhona exercise ukhona kulula lama exercises leswabona konje la ngicaba ukuthi noma abusekhaya udimele baleni nasendlini ungakwenta nabu nespace anyana ukwenda so ngicaba ukuthi wonke umuntu akathathele inyawo lesiyati ukuthi vele indlela le vision 2022 ithi kumele kufikwe nebamvu nesive les health so ngicaba ukuthi izithande idlale inzima lenkulu ngingasho ke before ngathi akusiko lokuphela nema races lamanye bayawajoyina ukhuluma ngabombo bemarathon ama athletes akhona ayangena ajoyina nangaphandle kwelive bobo Soweto marathon Comrades marathon bayawa attend so ngicaba ukuthi bona abasiyo nje just ukuthi bende ma aerobics noma letinto leto kuphela baphenze bangena nasemgwaqweni babe nema athletics la professional la gijimako.
Now talking to Mr. Nsizwa Twala, who is the director or coordinator of this club, he's mentioning even how whatever they do kuhambisana neligama club zithande, meaning they're trying to make sure that as a person now wherever you can be at this point in time in life, just love yourself, love your body, do what you have to do to make sure that you keep yourself fit and regularly. He is going to be in the company of Sharon Ogatachwago, who is also going to be expressing from the side of the Minister of Health what are they trying to emphasize. Sive naso sachaza ukuthi bekumxoka kanganani ukuthi sishukumisa umthimba. Listen to this. Just to apologize a bit on that short cut, as we're trying to make sure that the sound is proper taken care of as we're preparing for the interview to return. I think what we were saying, Master, the emphasis we want now for Manyema club, not only for athletics, not only for Zitand, let it be a norm. Agube Jalo with different clubs, not only for athletics, it can be the same with tennis, it can be the same with golf, to just encourage Amaswati would say ashugum team.
Boga Fabrice ngendlela la hlanganisa ngayo bonke labantu and akusiko ke mhlambe lo mnyaka bakuthi kulula kuhlanganisa igroup yebamvu ukuthi ede ibenza wonye ikhona kwenda ilalele ngicabanga ukuthi kulukhulu kakhulu so ngisho ukuthi leadership qualities akhe adlala inzima lenkulu most of them kuphuma wona ama ladies lengicabanga ukuthi le area around Manzini ngicabanga ukuthi baya benefita kakhulu sengishilo bengikhuluma nalomnye earlier on akhuluma vele ukuthi bona nabangakhona ukujima bevala ama muscles angathi abaluma so ngicabanga ukuthi sebayifake soyifakile Nsizwa ila kulabamvu bakhe part of le team ukuthi every day Most of the time bakhuluma nga Monday, but we never skip a Monday.
Masa, I don't know if it's proper ukuthi ngave at this point in time I can mention ukuthi uhlala kuphi, but ngiyangibona emkhwacweni nawe nje on early morning hours nje taking care of yourself. Masa mhlawumbe lo at this point in time you can explain to us ukuthi as a human being ukuthi ngasikhathi lesinganani nje per day. It could be an hour, it could be 30 minutes. Usichazele ukuthi for those who are busy, who can't find time, what can they do? Kule smallanyana time they can get.
In fact, Fabrice, lo 30 minutes lo ngaba naye ukuthi ushukume. In fact ke kushukuma ke Fabrice akusiko lokungena emgwaqweni kuphela, because labanye bacabanga ukuthi kushukuma every time kumele ngene emgwaqweni. Ungawenda ama aerobics, ungangena emgwaqweni. Ungalithola ibhayisikili, because ibhayisikili nalo best equipment yokujima, because lona basilijima sacishe onke lama muscles la mtimbeni. Ungangena emgwaqweni ngalo. So ngicabanga ukuthi tonke natinvo nati bestenda even nabo skipping nabo labo ngakwenda ukuthi uwende na usekhaya. So 30 minutes nengakhulu per day na utokhona exercise.
Yashisa la Manzini Club, you can see the likes of Twala, of course, removing their top and keeping up with the work. Otherwise, we're back with the interviews. This is Mr. Nsizwa Twala in the company of Sharon Atlachaw, and then members of the public, of course, expressing how they benefited from this boot camp. Listen to that.
Lana lokuthi sikwende kanje sesendele kube open sendela the nation. We are promoting a healthy lifestyle. Sicucutela Temidlalo ngoba Temidlalo sesibonile ukuthi into ethambele emuva tifo inqumbi tiqhwakela ngakumuntu ongasilo phelile. Si la October nje besenda le breast cancer month libithe baka health but osikhuluma nge breast cancer month kule nyanga lena ke yokugcina le umnyaka sithi asibuye sikhulume nge mental health ngoba konke lokwendekako ngileti stress etikhona umuntu ugijima aya ufuna kudla umuntu ugijima ufuna tshwala esikundleni abe uthatha ihobby into lenjenganawo lokutamsebenzela lokutawuthe ujima namhla kusasa utabangcono kanti na unathi namhla kusasa utaba nelipapalazi uphinda ubanga leti inkinga so ngiko leti inkinga silelele lokuthi bese sibuya labantwini sitobatshela abantu ukuthi asi exerciseni bese sibida labantu abanelwadi ukuthi ababuyela kulo December ke sithi ungemi phela lona kusumsebenzi impilo kude ukuthi uyakubreak kude ukuthi uyasedrobheni usemakhaya sisebenzisa ground nje la kude khona ground sikhombisa ama exercise kude lasiphuthele khona insimbi disco bamba thina umtimba wethu sifundisa lo ukuthi live lingaphila ngaloku exercise ngoba umtimba lophilile kuyingqondo lephilile njengoba bashilo laba Secretary Center lokunye ke lesikusho ukuthi buya phela endlini udle kahle
namuhla besicizelela ukuthi asinakelele engqondweni. Let's take care of our mental health through exercise and healthy eating. Asidle kudla lokungemaseko lamathathu ngaso sonke isikhathi. Na utawufaka into emlonyeni wakho dibude ukuthi ukuyiphi category lokufaka kolamlonyeni kuyakha uyavikela noma kwendani kulokuthathu lesikwatiwe ukuthi kukhona uma kungekho kuloko make the right decision ungakufaka emlonyeni wakho ngoba unakekela umtimba wakho watise ke ukuthi lesikudlako immune system yethu iku digestive system yethu so uma sinakelela lesikudlako sinakelela ingqondo yethu sinakelela umtimba wethu uma umtimba wethu aphathekile ingqondo yethu nayo iyathikabeteka sigcizelela nje lokho ukuthi kumcoka kushukumisa kumcoka kudla lokungemaseko lamathathu
ngicabanga ukuthi ungiside kakhulu ngikhonele kushukumisa umtimba basifundisa nange mental health nekuthi kumele sidle kanjani nekuthi mental health iyahambisana ne fitness. Yes.
No, namhla ngigenile ku body fitness and yalo sekufundzela festive season. Akusona festive season nilo odliwako lokuningi kwawo lokungasi healthy nutritional content wise lokungakho umtimba. So lana at least lo mtimba uthatha shape konke longathi emtimbeni kuyaphuma uba ne body fitness nekugula ke akusonzeli vele.
expressions, of course, from the team that was at the boot camp at Zitande Club. I mean, at the Manzini Club in Manzini. That's Zitande Athletics Club. The men to speak first was Eswatini. Basi muvilana kakhuluma ukuthi bazama ukuhambisa embili inze bekushumisa umthimba. Manje kunegama lalivetile ngicabanga ukuthi mhlawumbe ungasichazela ngendlela ungehle kahle kwela kulabo labatsinzayo kuletinye thinathu ukuthi ukanza ukuthi umuntu ukhona la kuthathe ebusuku the next sen so akakona kwenda ngaba nje mhlawumbe ukuchaza kahle ukuthi cha what we are trying to say is that it's the number decisions lo yendaba empilweni.
Fabrice ngicabanga ukuthi ibekile yacaca ukhulume kakhulu ukuthi kudinga ukuthi ube nenvo incumbi yabantu bavamise kulimala kakhulu engcondweni ngetinvo labacabangako ngetinvo labatendako so nangabe utaba ne hobby uthi kujima utaba ihobby yakho ngicabanga ukuthi sitaba sincane lesikhathi sesidunga because incumbi yabantu batendiswa more especially kunatha bakwendiswa ukuthi uthola lo muntu sinenge lesikhathi la ngakhona uzama lokumvu ku distress but ke nangabe ukhona lokujima uyahamba uyashima uyabuka uyageza uyalala uyakhuluma uthi utazikhanza ukuthi ekseni bonathela ubusukubonga bonase ekseni sokuphatha lipapalaza benza again ucabanga ufuna kubuyela uyonatha so ngicabanga ukuthi lokujima dinenge letimvula lama benefits abo lakhuluma ngawo insizwe naleswati kunje nathi.
Wow, they have it. Master, ipaparazi ilanguage official yini noma bayabathi lo reaction licamka kona so lilanga lelandzela.
No Fabrice, lipaparazi igama leswati hangover. In fact leli gama leli lisuke lingasho kuphela bamvu labanathile because hangover kusho si kukhona ngayitolo lokwendile lokwende kakhulu then ekseni ubuku lomtimba uvuka awusiko right. Hangover le
expressions and emphasis and details and all the things. Now Ngonyeni Golf Course, they hosted a 2-day tournament over the weekend and this was a professional tournament, seeing the likes of Jamie Pennington taking part of it. Master Kafishanje, take us through the tournament, and for a player like Jamie, we'll get to that, talk about him and what he's wishing to do after winning it, but the tournament itself, Master. Yes.
Fabrice, weekend bekune tournament engwenyeni banje lokona engwenyeni a professional golf tournament. In fact this is a third professional golf tournament lebe banjiwe ke Fabrice. In fact bekubhicene because now yiva a pro AM tournament lo show ukuthi bedlala ema pros kudlala nema amateurs.
Yes.
But ke ema pros aqala ngalesihlanu Fabrice adlala engwenyeni. Unfortunately badlala bukuna badlala but igame yagcina idistage isimo selitulo badlala only le 9 hole base baqhubeka ke Sundays kwase sekujoina ke nalama amateurs Fabrice badlala i tournament lekungathi kuyi point system but lama professional golfers because wona bekaqalile Saturday agcitsela ke ngalo Saturday but nje beku a very good event because nalamanye ama golfers beka bese adlala kuqala as ama professional golfers lengicabanga ukuthi nabo beba booster experience yabo.
Now maybe we just shortly take maybe some of the highlights to see what was happening on the day. Talk about the tournament that involved the pros, being people who are playing professionally and players who are playing as amateurs, trying to get in the understanding of the sport, but yet maybe to turn pro. Some of the players also turned pro on the day. But before we get to that, these are some of the highlights of things that took place at Ngonyeni Golf Course. Take a look at this.
Come guys, quick guys. Show me.
Lovely pictures, of course, all the way from Gonyeni over the weekend. A two-day tournament that saw pros, those who play professionally, making it together with those who play as amateurs. Now, on the day, of course, 4 golfers turned pro, meaning they were playing as amateurs prior to the tournament, but on the day, of course, they were granted that permission. We'll look at some of the pictures as we mentioned their name. Of course, there's Nicholas Villagati, who one would say also showed the level of expertise where he turned pro on the day, as we can of course see on the pictures. Master, Mr. Villagati.
Fabrice ukhuluma ngama golfers vele labeka solo amateurs including yena Nicholas Villagati lesimbonako siyathi ke Fabrice ukuthi owawinile nalamanye monthly marks labeka abakhona ama tournaments labeka abakhona locally including nabo bo Sanele Myeni nabo bebesolo bama amateurs naye Sanele Myeni ungenile waba pro nabo ngicabanga ukuthi naye khona linye monthly mark la winner so ngicabanga ukuthi Fabrice for them lelanga leli because bebaqala lokudlala as ama pros ngicabanga ukuthi it was a big day.
Sisabukela Sanele Myeni, Master, maybe one is asking himself or herself, what happens for you to become pro? Maybe is it a way you play that impresses those who are in charge of the sport, of the golf union decides to say, you know what, your level has improved? Sisabukela nya Jabulani Mabaso.
Fabrice ngicabanga ukuthi uyayinosise ngesikhathi yoshootha scoreboard sema golfers ukuthi kubanana lokubhalwa handicap
nangumabaso
yes naye Mabaso ungenile Jabulani Mabaso ungenile as a pro ngicabanga ukuthi it's a good thing uyayube ngifuna ukubekisela Fabrice ukuthi uyayibona ukuthi kunabo handicap for ema golfers ke wena ngiyahle ukuthi ungafika ujabule ukuthi someone una 20 ku handicap yakhe 20 kani kudzinga ukuthi ibuye ngala John Fakutse he's my cousin yes so ngicabanga ukuthi as wehla ubuya ngala ku 10 ubuya ngala ku 5 lokusho ukuthi lapho igame yakho iyenyuka kudzinga ke ukuthi uzobuye ku 0 then so ngathena ke pro laba nje basebentile kakhulu handicap yabo, so next time nje nabadlala bona ihandicap yabo ayisekho le kubo 18 bo 16 bo 15 bo 10 seyilanga pass.
Now one of the new promoted, rather using the word promoted now, turned professional golfer, since promoted is used as a term in football, but for golf it is a professional golfer. He spoke on behalf of the new professional golfers. That's Mr. Fakutse. Linda Dlamini's cousin, of course, is expressing how the journey has been so far since he was amateur, now turning a pro. Listen to Mr. Fakutse.
Ngijabula ngoba into sentela for the future, the young ones atawujabula nje ukuthi udlalela kuya kulenye level, ungakhanze ukuthi udlalela amateur ungathi utawuya. Siyabonga nje ukuthi sponsor senta into lenkulu ukuthi ijunior ledlalako itathi ifuna kuya ka professional sponsors. Ngingabusho nje kubantu lesingenako kufanele si respect nalabadzala ba respect sponsor fast awuqhubeka bakhona ukudlala nalabata. Ifiso tami ukuthi ngidlale kahle nginama cabanga ukuthi makuphela umnyaka ngibe ngikulenye level, ngingasori ukwenza ukuthi ngiyadlala but angibonakala ukuthi ngidlala njani. Fanele ngipractice kakhulu ngento ukuthi ngidlale kahle, ngikhona ukuthi makukhulunywa ngama-winners nami ngibe khona kulesinye isikhathi. Bengifuna ukuthi imisela njalo ukuqala ngaJanuwari sidlale eRoyal Swazi, siphinde sibuye February sibuya phala Ngonyeni. Ngiyacabanga ukuthi isikhathi sikhona ngisitholile ngoba first game yami lena. Ngiyacabanga ukuthi kukhona lengubonile ufuna ngikwente more ukuthi ngisebenze hard ngoba igaluva umdlalo lo uthi lamuhla ngeke ufane na itolo nje bengiqale kahle but lamuhla ngidlale kahle, so ngiyabona ama mistake ami ngente akugcina ufuna ngishaye road work so ngiyacabanga ukuthi into kufanele ngithi fixed leso before kufike le namba kufike le midlalo lemkhulu ikhamze ukuthi sikhwale sengikulungisile.
Sabonga isikhathi sakho Mr. Phakathi.
Mr. Bank. Yeah.
Mr. Fakutse, who has now turned pro. Another thing, maybe, Master, I want us to move on to the winner of the day, Jamie Pennington. But, Master, about pro in terms of timali khona lokuthola ngoba sesiva what Tiger would do see just nje per month. Yes, so mhlawumbe nje when you turn pro, how long do you start earning for being just a pro?
Ngicela ukuthi udlale kahle Fabrice simbonile nobuhle South Africa nangu Jamie naye nakungenda kahle South Africa. In fact the last time sikhuluma ngaye nobuhle sakhuluma ukuthi so reach million so imillionaire kuma earnings akhe. So ngicabanga ukuthi incumbele imali ichamuka lapho Fabrice ukuthi ngakuthi udlale kulama tournaments udimisela.
Talk about the winner of the day, Jamie Pennington. As we look at now the results of the day, of course, Jamie, if you look at him where he's standing, you look at the likes of Raymond Tosi, Peter Dlamini, I think on top of being that, I think is a coach there at the Mbabaneko Golf Club. Look at Meshach Zwane. The list is endless. The likes of Robert Ship.
For Jamie Pennington to come back here ekhaya laqale khona abuye adlale awine futhi ngicabanga ukuthi ukukhombisana lamanye ema golfers ukuthi ungaye South Africa but na ubuya lana dimisele ngicabanga ukuthi inspiration le because ushaba mvula lecishe labakhulile ngeminyaka yena usheshwa wa maturisha la ka golf because is young but kunetimvo letifunzayo in South Africa ngicabanga njengoba ngishilo labanye ke Fabrice babese baba big headed babese basafuni kubuya abadlala ama tournaments asekhaya ngakutshela ukuthi schedule sakhe si tight but yena is very professional.
Just to commend him as a Tukati, now he looks like he's got a golf board. You know how golfers are, out there in the world. You talk about Tiger Woods, even the dress code speaks. You can tell that this is a professional golfer. He's competing amongst the best in the world and then on the continent. I think you can tell even his shots are beautiful. Look at that.
Luckily Fabrice simbonile thina simkhave asaqala kudlala igaluva wamncula. Yes ngicabanga ukuthi kukhula Fabrice even the body uyambona njengoba soshilo ukuthi umtimba wegolfa nyalulo but is gaining a bit of some weight. Ngicabanga ukuthi it's a good thing. Sign your happiness because now udlala in South Africa enjoy your game. Ngicabanga ukuthi why not Fabrice? Let him enjoy. He's still young. After his cards uyabuka back abuka ukuthi uachievile wadlala wafika waba professional Eswatini professional golfer.
Now he's visited us here in the studio on countless occasions talking about his wishes, his plans. That was before he was pro and he's now pro. He's by pro I mean professional golfer. He's now represented the country. He's playing professionally in the Republic of South Africa. He was the winner of the tournament over the weekend. He did express what it means to him to win this tournament and for the rest of the going for January, what he plans to do. This is Jamie Pennington for you.
Jamie, it's been a difficult year and you end the year with the trophy, winning the pro area here in Gonyani. How does that feel?
Yeah, it feels really good. I unfortunately missed the first two tournaments that we had due to events in South Africa, so I kind of felt like I was behind when I came back, and I played nicely at the one at Royal Swazi and I've always enjoyed playing there, but this was the first time we got to play the new links course here in Konyeni, and it's definitely quite challenging, so it was good. I've been a little bit injured this week, so I haven't really been able to practice, so I came in with not many expectations but just wanting to play well, and I'm glad with how the 2 days have gone.
How important is it to have these pros actually playing such tournaments in the country?
It's extremely important. For a long time we didn't have an active PGA, and I remember when I was still a junior there was an active PGA, and then it kind of died down, and we're very lucky that some people have been able to time to getting it back up and running, and I think we can all see as golfers each event's getting a little bit bigger, the organization's getting better, and the score's also getting better. So it's really tough when we have Sunshine Tour events here and some of the guys haven't played an event for 6 to 8 months. Playing normal golf or social golf versus tournament golf is different. So we're very lucky that we can have these once a month, and we have to thank the organizers and the people behind it, and also the sponsors for donating what they have.
Talking about the Sunshine Tour, how would you balance your schedule to be available to play on the Sunshine Tour and as well come and play the tour here in Eswatini?
Yeah, it's been interesting. I spoke to the organizers of here, of our local EPGA, and they asked me to send through the Sunshine Tour schedule to try and make sure that events don't clash, and for the most part they haven't. We were unlucky that the one event that was supposed to be here was postponed, and I couldn't make it for that one. So hopefully they can continue to find gaps where we don't have events in South Africa. I know we got our schedule for next year, and there's no events in January, so I'll definitely be back here and playing this one. That's certain. So it is tricky, and now with having to go get COVID tests to come through the border and stuff, it's travel isn't as easy as it used to be, but it's always nice to come back and support the EPGA, and yeah, it's fun to play in these events.
You are a brand ambassador of the SRIC, and this is an SRIC sponsored tournament. What does that mean to you, representing the sponsor well?
Yeah, it's the first event at Royal Swazi that I played. I kind of felt a little added pressure on the first day, considering that they helped me and they also provide for the tour. So there's a little bit of added pressure, but that kind of goes away once you get your round underway and you get playing. You kind of just focus on the golf. But it's been really nice for me to come back and play nicely whilst wearing their logo and representing them, and they've been such a massive help to myself and Golf in the Kingdom. So we're very, very lucky to have them, and I'm very lucky to have them. It's been an honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
All the way smiling for the Christmas celebrations, New Year celebration. Jeremy Pennington is the winner for this year's Pro-Am golf tournament at Ngonyeni, highly sponsored by Eswatini Royal Insurance Corporation, who also happened to sponsor him as their main ambassador. Now, moving on, in the interest of time, Master, we talked about Pool Knockout tournament that we highlighted last week that was supposed to be played the past weekend. It played. Now they'll be heading to the semi-finals. But the heat and how now it is very interesting by looking at the results. I mean, if you look at some of the games that were played and you look at what you're expecting in the semi-finals this coming weekend, I mean, that's beautiful.
Beautiful, Fabrice. So it is a knockout. You lose, you are out. So vele ukubhekile ukuthi the big guns because bona they've been dominating even Nagu League. Correctional they won. Reps won against Masters. Fika won against France. Lencaba ukuthi vele njengoba ngisho ukuthi the big guns akhona kapool asakuma semi-finals nyalo. Nyalo ke Fabrice angathi ukuthi kwendeke njani, but I was hoping ukuthi maybe singabona reps ne correctional, but if didn't thamba kahle, then reps and correctional bese ngabobona ku final ngaba the best.
So usho ukuthi kule draw bekufanele ukuthi mhlambe they shouldn't have avoided each other because nyalo sitabona kuma final if it goes accordingly, because figure namanzini nabo you can't undermine them. They are here because they deserve being here, but the prediction from me to say the two of them into the final.
My predictions nanga performance Fabrice nanga lelo ku league ngicabanga ukuthi vele ungapredict ukuthi baye ku final, but there are no easy games. Fabrice siyathi ukuthi kuyo yonke knockout, but bengingajabula mina ukuthi at least noma badibane ku semi final kuze nalomunye one of the teams atawufika ku final asingifile ku final. Who knows? Final maybe ngaba surprise between correctional and reps.
There you have it. Of course, we keep a close eye and check on how things will be going in the semi-finals. Of course, this weekend between Figa and Reps, and then you have Manzini and Correctional in the two games. One will be starting at 1 p.m. and other one at 3 p.m. And of course, the two teams, to outshine others all the day, they will proceed to the finals, as we can see. Now, games are on Saturday, the 19th of December. The year is 2020. That is Dick's MRA Epic Knockout Tournament. Now, moving on, football. This was the grand opening of MTN Premier League, having, of course, been, should I use the word, having been in a drought for over 6 to 7 months, or 9 months, actually, should say so. The results are here. Games were played over the weekend. Some of the shocks, Master, because I think, not to put you on the spot, but I was listening to you on Thursday. You were giving tips to who might win the games on over the weekend. Patrice was asking you, and you mentioned that Young Buffaloes in this game, they stand a chance, but they ended up playing 1-1. I mean, not. Another thing, I think the game that you predicted very well, it was Tambuti Tabanguri. You mentioned that Tambuti will play well. And then Royal Leopards and Babane Highlanders, I think that's another prediction you gave us very well. So ngasho ukuthi Master ipolice engadini kuwe.
Fabrice ngicabanga ukuthi nawubuka lama results kokuqala sivete i Black Swallows nawubuka le game yakhona bekumele badlale nesibhethe enhlangano I game yagcina ingadlalo ke Fabrice I Black Swallows ayikhona ngakufika ngesikhathi egamini lo mthetho ke Fabrice uthi nasekuphelele isikhathi lebe kumele kucale ngayo le game ufike ngayo wena ungekho uthathelwe ama point lamathathu uthathelwe namagoli lamathathu lokusho ukuthi isibet at the moment ina 3 points 3 goals ilingane neTambuti asadi ke Fabrice because leminye imithetho kuyaye bese sekuba nenkinga more especially nangabe one of ema bosses a part of bese sekuba nenkinga because bese sayabhendwa but lo mthetho as usho uthi isibet ina 3 points na 3 goals but sta over ukuthi itawuthini verdict yakona ka Premier League
because now if you talk about that then the question is to say why the situation is the case, because if you talk about a team like Pigspeak Black Swallows, one of the things that you should be aware is the director, Mr. Charles Matsebula. Like what you're saying, he's the executive member of Premier League, the new committee headed by Carmichael, as the executive member of Premier League of Eswatini. Now, Master is not saying because he's an executive member, they won't charge them. No, he's saying maybe knowing what we've seen in the past, so we might see a situation where the case doesn't stand. But what you told us is a rule.
But Fabrice, why are we even talk about this thing? Une team like a Premier League level. Why?
Because they are not supposed to be at the Premier League level.
Oh, deserving by the Premier League.
Mind you, Master, the same team we're talking about, they were announcing new 8 players today. So to me, now being late at the game, we didn't mention anything about possibilities of being finances and anything, but if you are late, it's because, should we say, there are things you couldn't do on time, and then it's late for you.
Yeah, but Fabrice staba nesikhathi sta in the investigation sta ukhuluma singcabangi sista ukhuluma
kabanti. It's a report that says where is the level of the league.
Exactly Fabrice, uyathi ukuthi nangabe usendela umuntu lo ngaphandle kwale live ema results a weekend bese sobona ukuthi kune game lengadlala kubude kusiwhy ukuthi ayikafika egamini umvatsi umuntu lo ngaphandle imagine so ngicabanga ukuthi akusiveti kahle lesithombe sethu but nje ema games lamane ngadlale kahle Fabrice bongeke usho ukuthi ema teams ahlele isikhathi
the game there on top Master
Mbabane Swallows versus Young Buffaloes a very very good game ngicabanga ukuthi the Mbabane Swallows coach unenvule ngambona mina ukuthi uta Young Buffaloes coach wakhona egcineni wabe Mr Mnisi waveta imvule bengihlale ngiveta iWarrior ukuthi Young Buffaloes because baqale ema games akaf ngoba nale traveling ngendeka
kune-fatigue
ukhale ngayo wathi maybe ngendeka kube ngiyo because sambona ke yena kwaba nihlahla lo wasebenzisa onke ama substitutes lang 5 Mbabane Swallows on the other side more especially la midfield kwaqala Njabulo kwaqala Pupu kwaqala
Manyisa. Is he back at his best Njabulo? I mean in terms of doing the dirty work for Mbabane Swallows, Pupu, the distribution of the ball, are you seeing what you used to see in him?
They're playing too deep. deep. That's my worry. But football is back. Compliance. Spot on because almost every entrance sanitizers. Even nagla benching la papas omangthula ama bench beka khona ama sanitizers. So ngicabanga nje ukuthi cishe konke ukwalanzelwa lo mgomo walanzelwa even nama officers aka health ke Fabrice beka cishe akhona cishe sonke le stadium.
Mkhwelo of course in the starting lineup sesakhuluma master nge selection of Imbabane Swallows in terms of the players they have recruited. There is uyambona Phuphu nje.
Okay ngicela Fabrice because songifaka kule game bamphozele lapho kancane emva nje kancane because kancane yes but same clip kukhona le ngifuna ukuhighlightela kona because
true
le tinye tindvo ukuthi ngakuthi ubo coach ma expert but they need
we stop here yes you can stop here.
Now buka Fabrice there's Manyisa, there's Njabulo, there's Phuphu badlala midfield there's a triangle but my worry is they are playing too deep. Phuphu kumele attack abe phambili because udlalwa uyi creative midfield nanya on the other side nayo uyolekelela I right back uyothatha ibhola right back in fact nabe ba attacker kumele kusinjabulo because yena ngwele holding midfielder ahlale lengemuva then le two yenyuke kancane ibe ngiyo leyo assister Bonono naSandile lengaphambili bangadlali deep kakhulu. They were having very
because the mind verities every fan the team yakhe ukuthi nangabe una Phuphu namanyisa these are playmakers they will attack then default will do your dirty work
exactly but badlala emuva baphasa kahle game yabo beyicishe clean bebaphasa kahle but very very deep. Young Buffaloes on the other side bebarela kakhulu kuma counter attacks bebawafuna lama counter attacks but Njabulo in the midfield abekhona loku disposisa lawo ma passes abo there he is yena Njabulo T40 ama tackles akhe beyacisha abe spot on but njoba ngisho Young Buffaloes they were very disciplined defense yakhona uyayibona ukuthi seyidlala isikhathi because consistency Fabrice ngihlale ngisho mina selection yakho your team kumele ukuthi every week if badlali ba fit ba available ba select.
Master, would you say nakhuluma the two teams? I mean Buffaloes, I look at them now, you look at their selection, their presence even in the national team, CAF Confederation, CAF Champions League and everything. Then you have got experience of Swallows players, you know. You talk about the likes of Phuphu, you know, D40, they have been outside. Tony, you talk about even Manyisa, the exposure and do all those international to play for international clubs. Would you say those two teams are your highlight maybe to give us a beautiful season and fight for the title?
There are many, including Royal Leopard and Babana Highlanders, because bebadlala inhlangano bayithola i-draw to Babana Highlanders. They have a very cool striker in Skali,
scoring on his debut.
Royal Leopard nabo bane striker, very good striker Thabiso Mangongwane. So kulo four my teams ngaphinza ngisho lokho Babana Swallows, Young Buffaloes, Royal Leopard, Babana Highlanders.
Green Mamba ke
ngiyo ma teams let us nika ama champions at this season. Ngisho lokho sengwabukile lama games.
So it's that's the first case. Yes. The second case nabo Green Mamba, Denver Sundowns and Wanderers.
Yes, the Denver Sundowns njoba ngasho ngathi but they have very good players. Nabo abacalanga ke kahle Fabrice, abayicalanga kahle game ya consider magoli lang 2 ku Manzini Wanderers. Lengicabanga on the other side Manzini Wanderers le shape I was very happy because le shape boyibona they were attacking with 3 forwards and 3 midfielders. Makrish cishe bekunguye labekadlala high kakhulu kule midfield but Mopina ngale ngenhla kunasiphamandla dlala 7 ngale ngenhla kuManzini Wanderers bekagijima acisha awafaka lawo macrosses naye Mopina ngale transfer Chris Mopina awafaka lawo macrosses cishe I'm happy ngale.
Is Makrish giving you what you want, Master? Nangabe vele you have decided to let go a player like Dombo to talk about creativity now. So is Makrish giving you as some Kurumeli Wanderers supporter, whatever it is he giving them what they want?
In fact, a very good player. He was composed, relaxed. but nangabe afuna ukwakha i-tackle bekahamba umbona lokuthi uyahamba yokwakha i-tackle ngicabanga ukuthi ngiko laba kudinga kuma crash lengcondo yonke ibe lapha ekhasi groundini ngicabanga ukuthi esikhathi sibuko in fact Fabrice njoba ngisho ukuthi I'm happy ngalama games lawa because bongeke usho ukuthi labadlali sebahleli isikhathi lesithe bongabona ukuthi ema passes esikhathi lekwabona but ke Fabrice i-team letodlala i-passing game udzinga ukuthi ube physically strong, mentally strong because ema passes are between badlali labanengi so ngicabanga ukuthi konke lokho bokhoshi bakubukile otherwise I'm very very happy.
Master, you were there at the games. Did you feel the absence of the supporters? I mean, you know, when a game like Manzini Wanderers Sundowns is being played, you know the supporters, they're in the corner whenever they are expressing their joy. Did you feel their presence, that it was missed on the day? Beautiful goal, of course.
Yes, goal was scored by Linda Mapalala. Losanesikhathi ku Sundowns, yes. But ke Fabrice ngicabanga le feeling yokuthi ema fans so sorry the league is Linda Mapala the feeling yalama fans ekhathi grounding in fact Tapelo I noticed something naphuma lama teams some of them players,
that's the camera person you're with on the day.
Yes, ema players nakaphuma la kuma dressing rooms ayako mapha first thing laba yentako kubuka kuma stands
the feel
lengqondo isingawubo sawubona ema fans but sithemba ukuthi after skhathi atawubuya ema fans otherwise the teams played very well.
Now the more games are coming, of course, this coming weekend. Of course, we're hoping that Mr. Dlamini, you keep a close eye on what will be happening over there in coming weekend. Of course, your Friday, your weekend, there will be beautiful games being played over the weekend. Master, before maybe you close, it's the beginning of the MTN Premier League. We've missed the football game. What is new? What is something that you saw? You say, no, what this season has got its uniqueness. Wow, this is new for the season.
Ngicabanga ukuthi ibalance cishe emathimini lamanengi lengibonela ukuthi cishe lama players cishe ngisho ukuthi good team lengasho ukuthi yona ilayishe badlala kakhulu kwendlula lenye cishe lama teams onke lengwabalile la ngu4 bese sesifaka Green Mamba, Sundowns, Monen Pirates cishe lama teams lawo 7 teams banebadli quality players labanga cishe bakhona ukusibukelisa something this season in coaching kuma first games ngicabanga ukuthi abamanengi kakhulu ama mistakes but abazamile lokwa minimize lawo ma mistakes lawo otherwise I'm very very happy.
David, thank you very much Dlamini for being here, and of course you give more details on these activities of MTN Premier League on Thursday in the company of our colleague Patrice Msibi. Otherwise Dlamini, it's time we love and leave them.
Ukhuluma ngaPatrice, I'm not sure if Atabe are around nomntu decide akhe morning a weekend. He had a very very big day. Singasho nje sithi on behalf of sport team sithi congratulations we Patrice. He is now a man, he's no longer a young man. Fabrice Mr. Msibi officially bekashada Saturday ngasho even last time ukuthi bekalobola Mvombeka Blue bekashada Saturday Mvombeka Blue ngaseungbabe Msibi.
They have it. Things are happening in the sport fraternity. They are moving from being boys to become men, and that's what we wish for all of you. Now, taking time to also once again say that football activities will be on this coming weekend. Other sporting activities, of course, we'll keep in touch to find out for you how things are going. Otherwise, leaving you, we're going to say once again for the sports fraternity, we're still in shock and in sadness for the passing on of His Excellency the Prime Minister Ambrose Manvro Dlamini, and of course the Football Association has expressed a press statement where they express their condolences to the nation and of course to the Dlamini family. We do so as a sport team to also leave this studio in a sad moment by expressing our condolences to the Dlamini family.